The Pentagon rejecting a parking permit request from a group of prominent veterans organizing the annual Rolling Thunder. No doubt you probably heard about it. It is now known, though, as Rolling to Remember. It is a traditional motorcycle ride every Memorial Day weekend at the nation's capital. The motorcyclists have been using the Pentagon's parking lot for 32 years as a staging area for the event. But the Pentagon are now shutting them out or shutting them down over what they say are COVID concerns. Our next guest is planning still to go with thousands of motorcyclists despite the denial. And joining us to discuss is veteran Navy SEAL, former FBI agent, and author of the book Sheep No More, Jonathan Gilliam, who is in the process. We showed it there just a moment ago, Jonathan. You were in the process of building a new bike for the ride. Tell us about what you've been doing to prepare and what's happening.
Well, yeah, this is my first time ever building a Harley, and I don't know if you can see part of it, the skeleton of it back there, but it's just been a labor of love. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this bike is to get to go to things like in DC where they have this. It's unbelievable. If nobody's ever been to one of these bike events by what used to be called Rolling Thunder, it's just a culmination of people together for the right reasons with American-made machines that are loud, and just the energy is incredible. There's nothing bad about this whatsoever. And when we look at the reality of how COVID is spreading, not the way it's being used politically, but the way that it's spreading, that when you're outside, you're less likely to get it. They've had major events outside, major protests, and we have not seen a major super spreader event from an outdoor event this year. I don't understand why the Pentagon would keep these individuals from gathering for the right reason on the right day to honor those who have given their lives for this nation and deny them a permit to come there and park and celebrate together. It is just another example of this Secretary of Defense and his mismanagement. He's not qualified for this job. He's got political agendas, and it exudes that when he does things like this. And one other thing I just want to say is that, people on Twitter are saying that this is the Secretary of Defense, not Joe Biden, but they forget that the Secretary of Defense works for Joe Biden. So it is Joe Biden as well.
Do you think there's a workaround?
Well, I'm sure, listen, this many people that show up there every year, they're going to show up there regardless.
That's why I asked that, Jonathan, because I have a feeling a guy like you, if you wanted to go, nobody's going to keep you from going. The question, I guess, then is whether you need some permit to have some sort of organized showing somewhere.
Well, the proper way to do it, Bob, would be to get a permit. But as we've seen throughout the United States over the past year is that people just forego permits nowadays when they want to have a gathering, and they just invite as many people together. The only people that are looking for permits these days are people who are wanting to do things for the right reasons in a peaceful manner. So listen, I mean, I'm not recommending this, but they could just show up there and block a freeway. I mean, it happens all the time with Black Lives Matter and all these other activist groups. If somebody wants to support the nation and the veterans for the right reason, listen, with 40,000 or more people that are going to be there, I think they can stop wherever they want.
So, Jonathan, what do you think's behind it then?
I think there's an agenda. First of all, COVID is being used for political reasons. They pick and choose what events can be open and what can't. Here in New York, you have the megalomaniac Cuomo that is saying that they're going to allow certain sporting events to have vaccinated people in seats up close to the event, and other people way back in the nosebleed section who haven't been vaccinated. There's all these political games. On the other hand, I really, truly believe, as crazy as it sounds, of course, 2021 is more crazy than 2020, but I don't think that this Secretary of Defense really likes veterans. I know he's a veteran, but I don't think that he appreciates what these events are all about. I think what he's gone in and systematically tried to push in these stories of white supremacy and domestic terrorists inside the Pentagon, it is all a political game, and that's what I'm seeing.
Well, obviously his son, who has passed, was a veteran as well, so we don't know his position, but certainly you could say policies make it appear a certain way. I don't know if you could have a member of your group, Jonathan, maybe get married, and you could go on your bikes, and as long as you didn't dance in Washington, you'd be okay.
Well, you're always more politically correct when you say things, Bob. So I like to. Maybe I should just turn to you first because throughout my career in the FBI and the SEAL teams, I've always said things the way I feel it. And perception is reality. That's the thing. I've learned that from living in New York. Perception is reality. And when this Secretary of Defense does things like this, the perception is that he does not appreciate the people that work in the Department of Defense, and he has an axe to grind, a political axe to grind against conservatives and against veterans and patriots.
Yeah, because there does seem to have been this push to equate patriotism with both white supremacy and domestic terrorism. What do you think about that?
I think it's nonsense. Listen, wherever you go in this nation, or in the world for that matter, there's always going to be people who hate other people for reasons of color or gender or whatever. They're different from them. There could be hate there. But the way you combat these things is to concentrate on the job at hand, the task at hand. And our military is a warfighting machine. And it seems to me like that's the least thing that's on their mind these days is fighting building a defense force that can fight any enemy, anytime, anywhere. CIA is having problems with it. The FBI is having problems with it because they're recruiting through ideological means. And this is what happens, is it manifests itself in everything that they do. And it's palatable. That's the thing that I think anybody can see, is that this is palatable.
Well, Jonathan, we have to go. Good luck finishing your bike. And when you go to Rolling Thunder, make sure you record it for us. We can do a live
You got
report.
it. I will. The 1776 bike, that's what it is. So you'll see it.
That's cool.
All right. Thank you so much.